Hello, my beautiful souls. You are listening to the Messyhumandoula. I am your host, Macy. Oh, shit. Alright. So, for whatever reason, the universe wants you to know my real name, but I go by Ruby. I don't know. Every single time I do this, like, I've been trying really hard to not let you guys know who I am, because I really like being Ruby on this channel. Ruby is my alter ego. All right. I guess we're doing Ruby time. The universe has insisted long enough, like literally so many times they've insisted, like girl, you don't have to hide. Like, come on. Like, everyone knows that's not your real name. Maybe give them some context about why you have this little charade. And I'm like, fine, universe. So I guess let's talk about Ruby time, aka Maisie. I know. All right, so I'm not an LMC, I'm not a doctor, financial, legal advisor, but I am a registered behavior technician with like about altogether 5 years of experience with childcare and working with families as a nanny. But I've also worked in the mental health field as a mental health counselor, mental health specialist, bachelor's level, with 41 credits towards a master's degree in counseling. I was going to go for my counseling, and I dropped out because I had this really bad head concussion, like from a car accident, and there's a lot of other things too. It was definitely a Kali event that I really believe in Kali, by the way. I do believe that she has had a very positive impact on my life. Whenever she like, I've joked a couple of times where, like, you know, where I'll say, like, oh my god, like, I got kicked so hard that I'm like, whenever Kali twitches her eyeballs, I'm like, yes, Kali, yes, you're right. No, I'm doing what you said. I'm following the lesson plan. And then, but of course, sometimes, like, because I'm human, I don't always follow the lesson plan. And what you will often hear me try to remind you guys is the universe gives me my lesson plans. It's not that I think I'm better than you guys. I feel like it's so easy to believe that we mediums, we psychics, we spiritual whoever's out there, we're above you guys, and we're really not. We're still in the mix of it all. We're still learning, we're still trying. And sometimes we got it, and then some days we're really striving. I love Abraham Hicks because Abraham's, oh my god, I go in and out of Abraham Hicks, just like I go in and out of Krishna Das and all these wonderful, beautiful healers, because they're healers in one way or another. They're healers because they are trying to help us become better people. And if you look at Krishna Das, he always says, like, he's still in the mix with us all. He's still figuring it out. And that's why I like him so much. Abraham Hicks. So Esther channels like I do, and then brings the messages to you guys. So when I'm doing these readings, it's not like a full channel where I become someone different. I become an alter ego of someone who, like, is very highly connected to her soul mission, which is 999. You know, she's very connected to a higher frequency, and that's why I use Ruby, because Ruby is this brilliant energy being. She is my higher self. I've named her as, you know, it's Ruby Garnet, because Ruby is her. So basically, Abraham Hicks talks about that, like how we have this connection to source, and we can squeeze it tight, and we can, without meaning to, restrict our access to all these good things. But Ruby knows how to loosen that and to kind of like have a freer flow to things. So it's not that I'm like channeling a different being. I'm not channeling a ghost. I'm channeling my higher source, my higher self. And she's very informative to me. Like, sometimes she'll tell me some really cool stuff that I really like. Like, she'll say, like, no, you know what, you're doing a lot better than you realize. You really are. I'm so proud of you. And it makes me want to cry sometimes. Like, it really does. Like, I'm like, you mean that? You really mean it? It's like, yeah. I'm so proud of you. We are up here, like, we're watching you, and we're so proud of you. Like, Like, we're so proud of you. And it's like, oh my God, thank you, thank you. And she's like trying to communicate that a lot of times, like, you know, you're okay, you're okay, you're okay. I know it's scary right now. There's a lot of big changes coming. There's a lot of big changes, and we're very proud of you. I'm like, really? You mean it? And she's like, yeah, yeah. And I think she also too, like, I can tell she wants to remind you guys too, like your higher selves are so proud of you. Like, go ahead and name one of your higher selves, by the way. Like, it feels good. Like, make a special name for your higher self. It feels good because then you're like, I just don't feel like being Maisie right now. I just want to be my higher self. Come on, you know. And then you imagine what they look like, what energies they have. My higher self, reason I chose Ruby Garnet is because she has a lot of like inner red energy, and it's like she has this cool little crown where there's rubies and like the rubies like on her, like ruby energies coming out, and it's like beams of light coming out from her head and her crown, and it's going everywhere. So she's got a lot of really cool red energy, not like aggressive but like powerful, feels good energy, really good red energy. And so I see her, she's wearing like red eyeshadow and she's wearing red lipstick. She's like really like in her feminine energy as a powerful woman, and she just loves life. She's like, you know, I'm not afraid. You know that, right? Like you should be aware of that I'm not afraid. And I'll sometimes like be like, you know, because I have energetic conversations that are both conscious and unconscious, and I'll like sometimes I go like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by not being afraid? He's like, well, like I'm up here, I see a lot more than you do. Like I can see very far away. It's like being on a high tree, right? You can see a little further in the distance. Like if you're on top of a high tree or a high mountain, you see really far away. You can see like small things, but I can also just zoom in and see those things a little more closer to at the same time. So I can see far away and then I can zoom in. So I know a lot more than what you're aware of. Like I know what's going to happen next, or the infinite possibilities of what could happen next. And like if you stay on the trajectory that you're going on, you're like good things are coming your way. And like, really? He's like, yeah, like I wish you'd believe me a little bit more. And I'm like, okay, I'll try. I really will try. And this is why they have guided me to do these episodes with you guys, because it partially helps me and it helps you. It's like a win-win situation. Like it helps bring water into my well, but it also too, it's like a healing energy that goes out to you guys, because Ruby's actually helping me heal myself, but she's also too she's bringing you guys really important messages to be aware of, because she's part of the 99. Like I feel like as if I help myself, I can help you. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know if that does in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Everything is timeless, everything is general. I'm entertainment value only, but I really do believe in this stuff. I believe it firm-heartedly because so many amazing stuff has happened to me in my life. Yes, I'm going through I'm going through a spell right now. I'm going through a spell where I'm very needy of spirit. I'm very needy of spirit. Like I'm constantly, like I'm that little girl that's going up to the goddess's skirt and say, mommy, I'm scared of the monster in my closet. And she's like, there's no monster in your closet, girl. But if you want, I'll pretend. I'll go through the whole divine theater and I'll demand that they pay rent or something. And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, like, no, don't worry. Like, we'll make the cost so high that just leave. Oh. Yeah, we'll make the cost of them interacting with you so high that the energies just naturally depart and you'll be fine. Oh, okay, that sounds great. That's cool. Because can you imagine, like, if the cost of the rent was so high? You know, because a lot of us are experiencing that. But if our cost of rent for other people, negative individuals, was so high, like, oh, you want me to help you? Huh, that's interesting. You don't really help me very often. Well, how about this? Before I help you, I need a favor too. And they just disappeared because they're like, oh, I don't have the energy for that. You're so selfish. Mm-hmm. All right, well, then I guess I'm selfish, even though I've helped you a billion times, but that's okay because I gotta go help myself right now. I gotta go help myself. You know, the divine spirit has said, like, you know, you're not gonna be Like they'll tell me, like they're telling me like a break is coming for me where I'll be able to take a lot of time off away from the mental health and behavioral health field. I have a feeling they're gonna bring me back into it again at some point, but my sense is I they see far ahead. They know what's going on. They say like, we want you to help yourself first. Like, and they tell me this like, where, you know, like we keep telling you like you need to get your emergency oxygen mask on, and I'm like, what? And you're like, and they'll say, well, if you're on an airplane, right, and you're gonna crash, what did they tell you? Well, they tell me to get my mask on first before helping people. I'm like, yeah. Right now, there's a lot of heavy energies in the U.S. right now, and we need you to be like, what is it? Like, you know how in the waters, there's certain things that rise up above certain, like, so if you have, I think it's, was it oil? Oil goes to the top. It would just rise naturally above water. And like, we just want you to be oil and just go to the top. Like, be so like slippery that like you escape all things. Like, and you just go to the top because you're so good at taking care of yourself. Because when we take care of ourselves, we can actually naturally raise our frequencies. And this is why I do this, because Ruby's helping me actively raise my frequencies. She said, like, you need to be like a higher frequency a lot more often. And I'm like, but what do I do, like, when I go into work? Because that sometimes lowers my frequency. Like, I don't know what to do about that. And she's like, well, you just take care of yourself then. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, how am I supposed to do that? They want me to, like, be a workaholic all the time. It's like, well, just find some element of fun in that. Like, you just got to make it fun for yourself. I'm like, but I'm so tired all the time. And like, we know, but it's okay. You're fine. I know you want to keep talking about, like, how horrible your life is, but is that helping you? No, it's really not. But I like doing it. Like, we know it's like an addiction for you. You like to complain, you like to focus on the negative. But the negative is, and the pain is to create discomfort, to help you realize you need to focus. We're not bringing the contrast into your life so you can harp about it. We just want you to, like, shock you back into aliveness. Because sometimes they do that. They do all kinds of, like, things to force us awake. Give me a minute. I have to do something fast and quick. It's a little multitasking is going to happen. But yeah, like, you have to think about that. They are actively trying to shock us awake. And I know, like, that seems really weird. So I make a lot of episodes, but they don't always get chosen to be put out there for a lot of good reasons. And there was this episode I was working on where that got brought up in a channel to my higher self, and she was saying, like, these are the strategies we're giving to you. We need to shock you awake. And that can be very confusing. And so I used to read I still do on and off when I have time, but I like to read about shamanic strategies and all that. Where, like, I try to, like, help myself improve my life in an alternative way, because, like, the typical way of doing things just doesn't fit me, really. And so, like, I'll give you an example. The reason you do not see my face, you do not see my hands, is there's a strategy the universe gave to me. They said, well, the reason that it's harder for you to do the channeling for other people is because when they see your face and your hand, you absorb your energy. And through your voice, even though they hear your voice, you don't absorb anything to very minimum amount. And so you're more effective if you just hide your form, your physical form, because it's harder for them to direct their energies at you, if that makes sense. And so to go back to a little bit of what I was saying, is that one of the shamanic strategies I learned as a kid, but I've been, and even in my early 20s, I've been trying to reutilize, is two different strategies. They're kind of the like opposite. There's heat and cold. And so if we use the heat and cold concept, which is cold's usually meant to shock us. Heat is supposed to warm us, to get movement going. And so let's go into cold first. So think about what are some strategies you can do for like if you weren't even doing a shamanic strategy, like you're tired, you're scared, you're sad, you would splash cold water on your face or get some ice to ground yourself, to kind of bring yourself back to the present moment. You might slap your face to kind of like bring alertness to yourself. Now, warmth, hot baths, stomping your feet, clenching your fists, shouting. These are warming shamanic strategies to create forward movement in ourselves. But the difficulty when we summon up anger is some of us have grown very attached to anger in one way or another. Like we think it's bad, or we kind of get lost in the flow of it. So if you're utilizing this strategy, just be mindful that you might have to take a hot bath. You may have to take a nice vigorous walk or jog to warm your body and your soul, because anger you could get lost in sometimes. So be aware of that, be mindful. But sometimes what I'll do is I kind of use that warmingness to kind of like, I don't know how to better describe it, but it's a way of me to kind of gently or forcibly kind of get me out of it's like, think about like someone has a tight hold on you, you can slip out of it. And they're both meant to shift us, but they're just different ways of shifting us. And I more often than not use both of these. And sometimes I'll start off with, I have stomped my feet. I have like jumped up and down. Just give me a minute. There's a phone call, so I might have to pause this. And it's not letting me pause this at all. This is the problem when your phone is basically, right, sorry about that. It's a problem when your device is your recording device. I mean your phone. But yeah, so let me see if I can regain my flow of thought. I think for the most part they have a similar result, which is, again, like I said, it shifts you back to a different perspective, a different feeling state, a different higher, like a different frequency, hopefully higher. Like I'll give you an example. This morning, like I was naturally upset by something and I didn't really feel like getting stuck in the anger, and so I just said, you know what, I'm just going to do something positive with that energy. But I was able to shift to a positive feeling state because, I see it as kind of like a cue to me to like do something different. I know that doesn't sound like a really good example. So let me see if I can give you a better example. So when I'm sometimes at work, I can be really lethargic and demoralized, really heavily demoralized lately. And so one of my old habits I used to do was just constantly write. And so I was just feeling very demoralized. And if you see it, like I'm moving my hands, right? So I'm moving my hands, I'm using my mind, and I got all my negative thoughts out there, but I did it in a weird way. I said, I wish. And I talked about all the things like, oh, I wish I had this. I wish I had this. Oh, isn't it nice that, da. And there was a negative tone to it. But it was like a cleansing, So he can sometimes cleanse things out. So can cold, but cold's more to kind of like shock us. I remember I was talking, like, I know I get all over the place. I do apologize about that, but there's just so many messages that come in my head. It's just, I'm still learning how to focus all that. But they give me so many messages. I'm still learning, so please be patient with me. And so I was writing because that's part of what I do is automatic writing. And then eventually I got to writing this beautiful letter. And I was like, oh, this is exactly what I needed to hear. Like, I thank you, universe. And it shifted me. And then when I had a really lovely coworker come in, it shifted me enough that I was warm enough in the heart center to be open and receptive to good things. And I was talking about, like, this is actually helping me feel better. I was talking about the good things that I want and just pretending I already have it. There was this story I remember of these, it was Japanese Americans who had parents who were from Japan, and they were put into the camps. And sorry, trigger alert, but it's true. They were talking about not having enough food and imagining like they had food, and that was part of their imaginary play. And all things shift and change and end. And so that helped them get through a difficult time. And so eventually, they did actually have enough to eat, and they were able to enjoy food again and appreciate what they had. And so I was doing that strategy too of like, okay, I already have what I want. All right, this is already in my field. I have this already. And it was very warming. And so if we think about the warming shamanic strategy, we have to think of it as like air molecules. Warm air rises. And for whatever reason, they're trying to remind me of what I learned about tornadoes recently, but I don't remember enough about it. I just know that the combination of cold and heat creates a tornado. And so if you think about that, when we use the combination of these two strategies, warm air does rise up. We're able to raise our frequency. And the cold strategies and how must be mindful and engaged in our lives. And so we're able to shift our energies that we can make dramatic results in our lives that we need clearly right now. Most of us need it. And so I guess maybe that's what Spirit wanted me to do, is kind of teach you guys something that they're trying to teach me. I'll let you know if I get the results I want. I'm still learning it. And so just be aware, like, Ruby's here for not just myself, but she's here for you too. She's been such a really great guide for me. I'm so appreciative of her. I'm so happy that she came into my life. She's my higher self. She's always been there. And your higher self has always been there for you. So I know it can be very overwhelming, but they are here for a reason. This is the age where we can connect to our higher selves. All you have to do, words have power, but so do names. Be thoughtful and think about that. Like, who is your higher self? What are their names? These names just reflect what you currently vitally need in your life. And they will teach you so many really cool stuff, really amazing stuff that I'm so grateful to have received in my own self. So I'm going to let you guys be in on this journey of mine. I'll let you know how it goes. I'll let you know it all. I'm going to be honest with you during this journey. I really am. For the most part, I'm not going to try to sound like I'm this higher than thou person, because I feel like a lot of us are still on the train, right? We're on the train of like, where am I? I'm looking out, I'm seeing all the scenery, but I don't recognize anything. Where is my stop? And I remember when I used to take the trains all the time to go to Boston, it was very exciting. And at the same time, a little scary, because I was like, oh, shoot, I don't remember. Is my stop this here? Oh, shoot. That's right. Okay, this is my stop. And I would get off, right? And I remember feeling, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I remember feeling like it's this weird exciting hope and drive. And I'm like, I'm here for a reason. I'm here for a purpose. Like, my life has value and meaning, and I'm going to do great work. And I remember that feeling. That was like amazing. And so Six of Cups is definitely coming up. And they're saying, like, remember those good times, bring them to your current time period, because that's also to a shamanic strategy of taking that energy of the old and bring it, reusing it. We recycle. It's the recycle reuse mentality. That energy is still usable. So nothing goes to waste when you incorporate shamanic strategies. Do you see what I mean? What I'm trying to communicate to you? There is always hope. That's what they're telling me on a regular basis. That's what they're telling you on a regular basis. And it's like, oh my God, like this is actually the most clearest I've channeled in a while. It's incredible and I love it. And that's why I'm doing this, is because like it feels amazing. It feels so amazing to channel. I want more and more people to know how to channel. You know, I want more and more people to be like, oh, I connected to my higher self today. And I want to hear those stories and like, oh, what's your higher self? Does she have a name or he have a name yet? And they're like, yeah, it's Brock, man. Brock. And I'm like, and I'd be like, oh, cool. Like, he's like, yeah, he has like this earthy energy. He's very chill, man. But he's always excited about life, man. He's got like kind of these lower, like he's very grounded. He's like really connected to the earth. I'm like, wow, that's great. I'm so happy for you. It's like, yeah, so it's like, tell me what their names are. Tell me what stories they have to share to you. Tell me what good things they're telling you. Tell me what strategies they're telling you, because I'm sharing, and I feel like we have to kind of like collaborate together. Because think about it. There's all these shaman books, right? And a lot of us don't learn by reading a book. Some of us don't. Like, I don't. I used to. But, like, something in me shifted. And my brain was like, nope, you're learning by spirit. You're learning by spirit. We're your teacher now. We're your teacher now. Da, da, da. I'm like, not kidding you. Like, I wasn't able to read from books. I have these books. I'll open them up every now and then. And I'm like, cool, man. That's really cool. It's really cool, man. I miss being able to read a book. And they're like, nah, you're our bitch now. I'm like, okay, spirit. And they give me out really good lesson plans to follow. And so just realize that is they give out really awesome, like easy to learn things that are good for your learning strategy. They're really mindful about what makes sense for you and what they want you to learn at your pace. So they're not going to force you to go, like they know how much you can take. They know like what your progress is going to look like if they give you these lesson plans. And they're okay with reteaching you multiple times. They're totally okay with it. They actually love it when you're like, can you re-explain this again to me? I'm not really sure I quite caught it this time. It's like, okay, what do you need a story? Yeah, like I need a story. Can you find a story for me? And they'll literally, okay, so they actually did this with me with the Norse mythology. I'm sorry, this is like I'm supposed to stop, and why would I stop? But they brought something about hospitality, and they say, like, just because you're poor doesn't mean you can't be hospitable to other people. Like, there are plenty of wealthy people out there who are arrogant and, they do those things. Like that, the rich and the poor, they just forget to be hospitable, and they become bad kings. It's really important for you. It doesn't matter what state you're in to be kind and generous to other people. Because in the end of the day, Odin's going to see that. He's going to disguise himself. And the king who does cruel acts to strangers he's going to die on the sword. Think about it. A sword is very sharp. It's used to direct energies. It's meant to protect. And if you're not protecting yourself, but also to not being generous to yourself, not sharing with what you can share, not like oversharing, not giving off, you're not putting yourself, sharing without putting yourself in a vulnerable situation, right? And so like their spirit was saying, you know, like, look at this. What happened to the king who had all this wealth and just did evil with it? Oh, well, Odin got rid of him. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, but what happened to the one that was kind and thoughtful to other people? Oh, well, he became king. And they're like, good. Oh, we're glad you caught on. Thank you for listening. So I have to learn through stories. That's me. And they're going to find what works best for you because ultimately they want you to be successful. They celebrate every single time they see someone learn and understand something and improve their lives dramatically or even just a little bit. They're like, yes, Johnny did really good today. And they'll go and they'll talk to each other like, oh, what did he do? What did he do? Oh, get this. He manifested $10. Oh, he did? Yes. He got a scratch ticket and he scratched it. No, $10. Not that I'm, advertising. You should go and do that. But I'm just giving an example. Or, oh, guess what Becca did? Guess what she did? What did she do? Okay, you're gonna love this. You're gonna absolutely love this. Okay. Like, she got herself a new friend. Oh, she did? And she's not toxic? No, she's kind, she's nice, she's loving. She hits all the check boxes. Oh my God, that's incredible. I'm so happy. So they really celebrate our successes. And with that, I actually am going to leave. I'm going to say toodaloo, marry me, blessed be, I'm into your good health. Look down below. I'm on Facebook, Etsy as the Messy Human Tarot. And just check out. And I'm not going to advertise right now, but if you see anything you like, feel free to look me up. All right. I wish you all the best. Marry me, blessed be, I'm into your good health, and adios.